What is up, everybody? Michael here, bringing you another video today. Today, I'm excited to be bringing you another episode of Chew on This. You have seen her on this show before, the lovely and amazingly talented Kristin Raymer. Kristin Raymer or Willoughby? How should we go by, Kristin, on your first time solo appearance on the
I
show? I'm
know.
sorry.
Okay, this is actually a debacle. No,
Please
I
answer away.
am
I've
not
always wanted to
changing
ask
my.
this.
I'm not. I want to ask. Do you go by Michael? Is that what you go by?
All day and every single day of my life.
Okay, I didn't know. I was like, maybe he doesn't like going by Michael.
It works.
But no, right? Okay. I go by Willoughby because that's my name, and nobody's gonna make me change it. So that's that. But if people call me Raymer, I really don't care.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I will apologize for calling you Raymer on our first episode together then. You'll be forever known as Willoughby to me.
No. Hey, thank you.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on, Kristin. The first question I always love to ask my guests is, what was the last movie that you got to watch before coming on the show today?
Oh my gosh, it's actually kind of funny. It was Splash, the Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah.
The mermaid movie. Yeah, I hadn't seen that since I was like 7, and Ash had never seen it. So
really? Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have, but I haven't seen it in years as well. It's a childhood one, but not for children, if I remember correctly.
Not at all. Like, she's naked half the time. Yeah. It's a weird watch. But Tom Hanks, so cute. And honestly, giving a great performance. And John Candy's there, and it's a good time.
Okay, I got to revisit. Yeah. Is that one on Disney Plus?
It is.
Okay, nudity and all, still.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
It was great. Yeah.
We love to see that kind of content on the Disney streaming service. They've been talking about making more mature content on like a different type of channel, but hey, Splash is already there for everyone to see.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, they were with it for Splash. Everyone loves Tommy.
They were ready.
So, hey, so be it. It's funny because the last movie I watched was a movie that I got off of your Letterbox, which I would like to get into.
Oh, really?
Yes, you gave a 5-star review to this movie, and you are the queen of Letterbox. I trust your Letterbox reviews immensely. And this film is
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This film is Beginners, the 2011 independent film starring Ewan McGregor. And I loved it. It's really, really good. It's so fun.
Wasn't it good?
It's so quirky and charming. The dog subtitles throughout had me smiling the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just such a breath of fresh air. And it's great to see Ewan do a movie like that. He's one of the loves of mine. I have the biggest man crush on him. And he is such a cutie pie in that film. I love him.
I agree. He is. I could watch him do anything. I think he's like the best in Moulin Rouge when he's singing and dancing, but he was really good in this. And I love to see him a little depressed. It was nice.
Yeah. And the movie was just so natural. Like it never felt like you're watching characters, right? I mean, his character specifically, the ebbs and flows of his emotions as we see him prior to his father's passing, and after that, it's just, first of all, what a performance, but also it's just so fun. And the thing that will always be ingrained in my mind going forward will be him at that Halloween party as Freud.
Dude. Yes.
phenomenal.
But also the ending.
Yep.
Oh, so just like, I don't even know. When it was over, I was like, damn.
I
love that.
I was going through every type of emotion. I just did kind of a double feature of that and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And it was just a woozy of romance and love and heartbreak to go back to back from.
Gosh, Eternal Sunshine. I forgot that was even like a romance. Me and Ash are watching a ton of those right now.
Yes. We're going to get into that
revisit.
as well. You got to check that one out. It still holds up. It's amazing. I got to ask, Kristin. We're here talking about movies, but we got to rewind back to your youth. Where did the love for film originate? I got to ask.
Oh, man. Okay. Really young, honestly. I feel like really young. And it was because I think I've told you this before, but Spirited Away was like probably the biggest film awakening I've ever had in my life. And I just remember walking through the Blockbuster and my mom literally was like, this has a big standee. Like, it's a kid's movie. You should watch this. And I just remember like sitting in our spare room, watching this alone before dinner and like seeing the parents transform into terrifying pigs and seeing her screaming through this ghost town. And I just remember being like kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
And I was 6, so I wasn't obviously comprehending anything
Yeah.
or even remembering what I was
Just in
watching.
pure insanity on the screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was great. And then didn't, I returned my movie to Blockbuster, obviously.
As you do.
And I just carried that memory with me for a long time. And when I was like in middle school, I was like, what was that weird movie where, oh, I have a guest.
Oh, we have a guest. I love it. Our first animal guest, I believe.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
But what was it? Oh yeah, I revisited it in middle school. I like searched all over. I went to my local library. I was like, I'm trying to find this foreign film. And she was like, oh, it's just Studio Ghibli. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And she was like, here, just take it home. And I was so excited to take it home.
Wow.
I watched it, I swear to you, like 5 times a day for a week.
Wow. Okay.
My parents would just come in and I was like, I'm watching it again. And they were like, this is unhealthy. But I didn't realize like who Miyazaki was or what Studio Ghibli was. I was just like, I really like animation. And I kind of just took that with me into high school. And then I eventually did learn what Studio Ghibli was. And it got me really into foreign animation and kind of turned me into the film animation buff I am today. So that's my long-winded story.
No, not long-winded at all. That's awesome. I love how just the smallest, little things in life can just get the ball rolling into this amazing, experience of just enjoying film and especially foreign film at such a young age. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And talking about Ghibli films, would you say that Spirited Away is still by and large leagues ahead of all the other Ghibli films in your heart?
I would say that it is still my favorite, and that'll probably never change. It's like my favorite movie of all time, like not even just Studio Ghibli, of all time. So I don't really see any other movie knocking it down, but every Studio Ghibli film is like practically perfect. So it's kind of hard to rank them in any way. But yes, it's on top always.
Of course. Would you say that the emotions that you feel in your adult life are still very similar, if not the same, to the ones you felt when you first maybe started to understand it after the first watch of it?
Well, it's funny because Ash took me to see it in theaters a couple of years ago. And, I pretty much watch it whenever I'm sad. So multiple times a year, I'm just like binging through it. But we saw it in theaters. And I just was like crying the whole time it opened. And I was just like, this is incredible. So I would say I like love it even more now because I have an appreciation for film and like I know how much work and how many hours went into the film itself. So it's just grown and it'll probably keep growing.
I'm sure. And that's something I need to get around to rewatching. I'm planning on doing a whole rewatch of all of Miyazaki's films at some point. I got to chat with you once I complete that. And we got to get you back on here to talk about that. That'd be an absolute delight. Yeah. What would you say, how would you say Miyazaki's style has evolved as you've grown up? Do you feel like it's evolved in a lot beyond just the art, maybe in his storytelling as well?
I would say that he is probably one of the most consistent directors in his style and his storytelling. And I really appreciate that in him. If you watch a lot of his documentaries and behind the scenes, he's like a really stubborn director.
Okay.
He wants what he wants. And when other people give him critique, he's like, no, I want what I want. And I kind of really appreciate that. It's something that I would want to bring to myself as a director, just being that decisive and knowing. I'd say he's probably gone away from those more environmental issues he really touched upon in his really early works. And he kind of moved towards heroism and I would say more kid-friendly content with like Ponyo and all that. But honestly, he's been pretty consistent.
Would you, and that's something that's insane because for the majority of directors, when we think repetition, or we think consistency. Usually, I mean, even with a filmmaker like Nolan, I mean, that's usually the complaint in the craft. But with a filmmaker like
Yes.
Miyazaki, it's great to see that even as the years go on, he's just kind of shifted, the audience slightly for who he makes the films for. And I mean, the style remains, and the magic still remains, clearly, from your enjoyment of it. I got to catch his more recent work too, as I haven't seen most of his more recent stuff other than Ponyo, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to see The Wind Rises.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
the
that's I was
best.
I
I
was
think
just about
you'd
to ask,
really
what
love
what
that
are a
one.
few of the Miyazaki films that you would recommend for someone that maybe is going back into seeing them or hasn't seen them before?
I would definitely recommend. I feel like the universal favorite is just Howl's Moving Castle.
Mm-hmm.
That one just has such a magical universe. It's so colorful and the music's just so
Yeah.
great. You can't help but like love the characters there. And I feel like anybody I talk to who knows what Studio Ghibli is like, oh, Howl's my favorite. So I definitely recommend that one. But then after that, I'd say probably Ponyo and the Wind Rises.
Mm-hmm.
Ponyo's super underrated. I feel like people think it's for babies. That one is a different animation style. It's a lot more rustic, I would say, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a kindergarten druid almost, but
Yeah, in a
it's
lot of
cool
ways.
to see that style. And if you just go from that to The Wind Rises and see him kind of return to his normal style, it's such a difference. But The Wind Rises is such an epic story, and considering it's about kind of war, it's crazy that he made it. And yeah, I definitely recommend people checking it out.
Okay, that's I'm gonna take that watch plan when I re-immerse myself with Miyazaki films. That sounds
Yes.
like the good plan to take. I trust you. I trust you immensely with this. So this is the task at hand.
Honestly, watch them all, but start with those.
Okay, sounds like a
Yes.
good plan to me.
Yes.
Would you still say that even currently, apart from Miyazaki, that Japan has the best animation style, or at least your favorite?
I would say it has my favorite, but France is a big competitor for me.
Okay.
I think the French have been killing it and continue to kill it in their animation specifically. And it's funny because Miyazaki takes a lot of his inspiration from French animation.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you can
Okay.
kind of see it
Uh-huh.
in Japanese animation anyway. But yeah, those are my two favorite, I'd say.
Gotcha. Okay. What are a few from France? Because I haven't seen any film. I don't think I've seen any
Really?
animation from France. Not yet, at least. Not until you tell me a couple to see.
Well, first another friend, but The Illusionist, that was
Okay.
an Oscar nominated 2010 film. That one's really good. A Cat in Paris is probably my favorite. It's about like a cat who has two owners in Paris and he like switches between them during
Oh,
the night.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that one's really cute. Honestly, there are so many. I'm like drawing a blank on the top of my head, but A Cat in Paris and The Illusionist are definitely worth checking out.
Okay, those are two that I will also throw to the top of my watch list as soon as possible.
Yes.
I have to ask you because I'm not super well versed in animation at all. I know very, very little. As much as I do love certain animated films, I have to ask,
Okay,
this is my favorite animated film of all time, and I got to know your thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on Kubo and the Two Strings, if you've seen it?
You know, I love Studio Leica so much, but I have yet to see Kubo.
Oh my goodness, that's insane. I love that. I love that we're gonna have to talk about this a little bit though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ash like is always telling me like how incredible this movie is, and I love Leica, so I feel like a big poser for not seeing that one. I'm disappointed in myself right now, but I can't wait to see it. That one's like at the top of my list.
Yeah, you got to see it. I mean, this movie,
Yes.
it's like not just it's my favorite animated movie for sure, but one of my favorite movies of all time, probably in my top 5 or top 10 movies of all time. I rewatch it. I rewatch it once or twice a year, and everything about it is so fun, so magical. And I don't want to spoil it for you because you haven't seen it yet, but it's very unconventional. I guess the way the story kind of weaves itself out is very unconventional and fun and interesting. The voice cast is great. And I love the art style of the film. And, you know, in the credits, they show how they made some of the elements of the film, and it's mind blowing to see. So,
Yes, I can't wait to check that one out.
yes, you have to. What did you check out their most recent film? I didn't see it personally. I think it was something of it was First Man. Was that what it was, or something of that?
Oh,
Something called that.
Missing Link, was
Missing
it?
Link. First Man was the one with Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling. Excuse me. Yeah. Missing
Yeah.
Link. Yes, there we go.
Yes. So I feel like nobody saw Missing Link
I didn't see it.
except
Yeah.
me.
Okay, tell me about it. I want to know.
Honestly, I was like not sure based on the trailers, the voice acting. I was like, I don't know about this, but going into it, the animation is so incredible, and the story took a turn I wasn't really expecting it to take. The ending kind of goes crazy, and it's, you know, we're always asking for new original stories, and Missing Link is totally one of those. I love when a studio kind of respects children and hopes that they'll think a little, and
Yeah.
Missing Link is definitely kind of a thinker. It's got a lot of heavy themes, but definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, that's something that I'll point out too about Kubo, is that it I mean, it's definitely a family film. You can watch it with the entire family, but they're not pandering to a younger demographic at all. And it's one of those movies that I would really recommend to people that say animation is solely for children. I mean, these are the type of movies that go against that grain for sure, against that mindset. Could you name a couple off the top that you would point animation haters to that maybe will open up their eyes to the beauty of it?
I feel like there are hundreds.
Of course. Of course.
Like, I feel like people think of the big studios when they think of animation, Disney, Pixar, and then they go DreamWorks. I'm here to tell you there's so many more studios, and there's so much more animation outside of this country.
Yeah.
Obviously a recent one, Wolfwalkers.
Oh yes.
Incredible.
Amazing
and
movie.
Has crazy themes that are you wouldn't really see those in a Disney film.
Not at all.
And we love to see that. Also, anything Ghibli, I would say it's incredible. Anything from Cartoon Saloon. Honestly, anything that G Kids distributes here in America is gonna probably be a really good time.
Okay. These are the people, listen up, please, because I wasn't an animation hater by any means, but I was definitely limited in scope until very recently in both film, animated, and live action. I didn't really broaden out beyond indie films in America and, you know, what we get to see in most major motion, you know, picture theaters. So, you know, seeing Wolfwalkers, for example, what a mind-blowing experience. That is such a dope movie. I mean, talk about whimsical. I mean, we touched on it in a previous episode that you were on with your husband. And I mean, we gushed about it already there, but just still the music, I can still feel the colors and see the music, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Where just all your senses are kind of combined and into this just magical world that they're able to transport you in. And it pulls no punches too. It is a dark movie for sure.
The ending is so hard.
Oh yeah. I was really shocked and taken aback by the last half of that film. It was amazing.
So well done.
Yeah. Even though we touched upon not, or at least diversifying outside of the major brands of animation, we're actually recording on Pixar's, I believe it's their 35th anniversary today.
Is it?
Yeah, which was I was just on Instagram before we recorded. I was like, that's works out perfect that we have you
weird,
on.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some Pixar ones that you love? Because I've been rewatching some of those recently. I rewatched the Toy Story trilogy, and wow, what a delight still to this day. It's amazing to see.
Oh man, I feel like I'm like a controversial
Pixar
fan.
No, I want to hear it. Let's go.
So I'm like a really big fan of Pixar. I think, you know, they started so strong and they've like basically carried what we think is the quality in animation today, you know? And I love all of the early Pixar films because I grew up with them, Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., all of them. But then I would say like Toy Story 3 came out and I didn't really like it as much as everybody. And I still don't really like it as much as everybody. I think it's like so great to see the animation improve and we get to see the story kind of wrap up nice. But I could always skip that one. I can definitely just throw away the fourth one entirely.
I am with you on the fourth one completely.
Yeah.
We could completely toss that out the window.
I don't need that one.
Not at all. No.
But I'm also like a really big fan of the Good Dinosaur, and I feel like everybody forgets that
Underrated.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super underrated movie.
I remember being in the theater by myself and like being like, there's not even children here. By myself.
Wow. Yeah, I the Good Dinosaur. I also remember that having little to no fanfare like immediately after release, and it's strange to see when they were taking kind of original takes on things that they weren't really successful. It's odd to see.
Kind of sad.
Yeah.
But then Coco happened, and Coco's amazing.
I love Coco. Phenomenal.
I feel like who is a hater on Coco?
No one. I haven't really talked to anyone that doesn't like that film. But I how did you feel about Onward? Because that was a film that I really did not care for at all, almost.
Because I heard such negativity about it when it came out. I have yet to see it because of that still.
I would say that you are safe, just, maybe skipping it forever, possibly. Even as a fan of animation,
take your
perhaps.
Word on that.
Yeah.
But it got nominated for a Globe. So now I feel like I have to see it.
Which is insane. Are you off the top? Do you know the other? I know Wolfwalkers was definitely nominated.
It was
what
just
else was
basically
nominated?
Disney. It was Soul.
Okay.
And also Over the Moon. I don't know if you saw that one.
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just those 5 though.
Okay. So not what would you say are some of the better movies from 2020 and animation that people have not been talking about?
I would say Lupin the Third, which I know I've already talked to you about, but
continue to talk about it. I just got the Blu-ray, so we'll probably talk about it again in the future.
Yes.
So let's build up the hype about talking about it, please.
Dude, that movie's so good, and the animation is just miles beyond. I'm like ranting already. Is miles beyond anything Disney has even thought of doing or anything Pixar has thought of doing. The story is so refreshing and it's so fun, and just go see it. It's a good time. But also, Morona's Fantastic Adventure, I just watched, and it's my favorite movie of 2020, and nobody's talking about it. It's so sad. But it's just, it has such gorgeous animation. It was animated in 3 different countries. So it's kind of this amalgamation of style and culture. And it's just got so many layers to it versus something like Over the Moon or Onward, which is kind of just
paint by numbers.
Yeah, basically.
Fairly standard. I understand. Okay, I know Ash was just talking to me about that how do you say it one more time? For the Hard of Hearing
Fantastic Tale, I think.
Morona's Fantastic Tale. Okay, I gotta check that out. I added that to the top of my watch list too, so I'm gonna be on an animation binge completely after this episode. It seems like, which I'm all for. I'm all for it. Moving slightly off that topic, I want to get to know more about your film taste beyond that, because I see you on Letterbox constantly logging films from every nation, films of all types. So who are some of your favorite directors, or maybe some of your favorite films outside of the animation space?
I feel like I love all film. Animation's just kind of my favorite. But horror is probably my next genre.
Dope. Okay. I did not know that. That's awesome.
Big horror fan. I've been a big horror fan for a really long time. I remember seeing Insidious and like making my little brother watch it with me, and he was literally crying, and he was like, I need to go upstairs, and I was like, you sit with me and you watch this horror movie.
I love it.
And to this day he's still like, you scarred me. I can't watch scary movies.
That movie is terrifying. Yeah, that movie is a bad one to start on. So scary.
Yes, but I love horror movies. I love Korean horror probably the most. There's just some crazy horror movies out there from Korea that are just over the top. If you don't like blood or like violence, stay away.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talked about it last episode too, but I mean, I Saw the Devil is one that always, like, the imagery from that always comes to the top of my head when we talk Korean horror. And it's so strange how they blend tones and genres so well in their film, so it's kind of like an action thriller horror movie in a way, and
and a mystery, like
it's so brutal and so crazy and not fun at all, but such an entertaining watch, which is a kind of different thing, that you're not really used to the movies out here.
I'm always like that whole movie was just me cringing, but
Yeah,
it stuck with me. Like, it's just so good. The
absolutely.
Yellow Sea is another one that's really good from
Mhm.
Korea. Oh my God, so good. But beyond horror, man, I feel like I just like everything. I'm a Nolan person, I'm a Wes Anderson person. I
Mhm.
really probably do like indies more than the average person.
Yeah.
Midsummer is one of my new favorite movies of all
Oh, okay. Awesome.
time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Um,
Over Hereditary,
obviously,
I must ask. I must
I
ask.
really didn't like Hereditary.
Oh, really? Okay,
I think I
interesting. Cool.
definitely need to watch it again. I've only seen it the
Mhm.
one time, but
Okay.
I was watching it and everybody was like, "Whoa, that was so good!" And I was like, "Did I
Mhm.
miss something? Why am I not getting this?"
If you love Midsommar and that's one of your new favorites, I feel like you're gonna give Hereditary a rewatch and really dig it. I
I
genuinely feel that way. Yeah.
I have to check it out again.
Yeah.
The Witch, I love The
Oh,
Witch,
yeah.
but
David
The
Eggers is so
Lighthouse,
good.
I don't know about The Lighthouse though.
See, that's one. Hey, thank you, because I got a lot of people telling me I missed out, like I didn't get this movie or something, but I really didn't care for it too much. It was,
I didn't
and I
either.
loved The Witch. The Witch was
Me
awesome. I
too.
was a
Yeah.
defender of that movie. I will go to bat for that movie forever. But A24 and horror really, I mean, they have
Just in general, yeah.
so many hits. I mean, can we count? I don't know if you've seen it. I think that you have. Killing of a Sacred Deer. Can we count that as a horror
Oh
film?
my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like kind of a dark comedy almost, I
Oh,
could say.
hilarious. There are some there are some scenes in that movie that, I mean, disgusting, but also so funny. The stuff that comes out of Colin Farrell's mouth in that movie. He's a
My first
nasty
watch
boy.
of that was just like, what is going on? And the whole time I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And I was like,
It's a long movie too.
if I
Yeah.
leave this theater, I'm gonna be so
Oh,
confused.
oh, yeah, that
But
one was quite a watch. It was a doozy. I mean, even that, from the last shot to the last shot, the movie is still like, oh, I can't believe this is
that
happening.
last scene is just insane.
Yeah. Yeah. The spin. I
Yeah, the
mean,
spin.
we just call it the spin and everyone knows what it is already. It's just
Yes.
horrifying. And to see
Terrifying.
Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman do that kind of a movie was just mind blowing to me. And I loved it. I loved every second of that film. It's a masterpiece.
Are you a fan of The Lobster then, or?
I really like The Lobster, but that's one I want to give a rewatch. I've only seen it once, but everyone
Oh,
tells me that that's Yorgos's, masterpiece. Even in comparison to his other films, which I love all of them, so I got to check it out again.
yeah, I would
Have you seen
agree.
his earlier works? I believe the movie
Yeah,
is Dogtooth. Yes,
Dogtooth. Yeah.
yes,
Oh, have you seen that?
yes, yes. A long time back in high school, I saw Dogtooth, and it is a traumatic film.
I
That
watched it
film is
this
horrifying.
last year and it
The first
was,
time?
yeah, I was
What were
like,
your thoughts?
Yorgos, what are you thinking? I don't understand this movie at all.
It's crazy that Killing of a Sacred Deer is toned down. Like, that's a much calmer and tame version of what that
Yes.
is, you know? Oh man, yeah, Yorgos is a psycho, but I love to
He's
see his
crazy. I
work.
love him.
Yep. I'm assuming, are you a fan of Aronofsky then as well?
Oh, a big fan. Black
Okay.
Swan
Yeah.
and Mother, which a lot of people didn't like.
Oh, I
I
love that. I
loved.
loved Mother.
Oh, I saw
Another
it 2 days in a row. I had to.
another movie that's just so disgusting and horrifying every second
But
almost.
it's
It's just,
amazing.
yeah, it is a thrill to watch. And I think that's Jennifer Lawrence is one of her best
Same.
performances by
The
far.
best. Yes.
Yeah, I could debatably the best. I could definitely
Yeah.
see that 100%, 100%.
Everybody.
Yeah, dude. Now I gotta go rewatch Mother 2 again. It's on Hulu. I
Same.
gotta see it again.
I love it.
Moving off of those movies, I wanted you to talk about. I'm surprised that you didn't mention it. I feel like you're gonna have this oh my gosh moment when I say that I just rewatched A Ghost Story in anticipation to talk to you, my friend.
David Lowery. How could I forget? He's like my favorite man working right now.
All right, do you feel like A Ghost Story is his best work? Because I'm not super versed
Yes.
with his work. Okay. Okay.
I haven't seen Pete's Dragon, but or
I
think
forget
like
that
his,
he did that. Pete's Dragon is awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So I have to check that one out,
Mhm.
but I would say that of the ones I've seen, A Ghost Story is just profoundly the best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we just filmed another episode of this show a couple hours ago with Sabrina Ramirez, and we were also talking about A Ghost Story and how phenomenal this movie is. And I'm here to talk about it again. I'm sorry to everyone that's watching the episodes back to back, but you're going to hear it again, and this time probably more in depth a little bit. So let's talk about it. I
Dude,
mean,
yes.
oh, I remember watching this for the first time in a theater by myself at a
Lucky.
it was in a bigger in an Edwards theater in an area where they don't really show very many indie movies there, so it was surprising to see it, but it was the only theater showing it at the time, and I got in there by myself. And I remember just sitting there and weeping. The very
Yes.
first time I watched it, for the whole time,
Yes.
basically after the first 20 minutes, I was crying basically the entire time. And I hadn't rewatched it since then. And just rewatching it today, I mean, it just rocked my world in
Oh
every
my
way.
gosh.
I mean,
I
I've
am
seen
so
so many
happy
scenes.
about that.
Yeah, I've seen so many scenes from it. Like, I always rewatch the scenes of the ghost talking. Their very first encounter is
Yes.
always the scene that gets me every single time. But I just couldn't bring myself to watch it in its entirety for so long, other than in fragments, just because of how heartbreaking this movie
It's
is.
so sad. Yes.
Yeah, so I want to kind of hear about your adoration for this film. What makes this film one of your favorites? I gotta know.
I hadn't heard of David Lowery until 2017. I didn't really know what this movie was about. Ash
Mhm,
claims we saw the trailer, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
mhm.
I just remember seeing the poster and thinking, oh, that looks spooky.
Yeah,
It's going to be
yeah,
such a spooky time.
yeah.
And I went into the theater and it was not,
Nope.
but it was instead beautiful and riveting and thought
Yeah.
provoking and everything I wasn't expecting and everything I didn't know cinema could be. A Ghost Story is my favorite live action film of
Wow.
all
Okay.
time.
Okay.
So I'm really
Awesome.
sad that I did forget to
No,
mention this.
I know I feel bad for bringing it up like that.
No, I'm so happy you did because
Okay.
how could I not talk about this? This movie
Mhm.
is so incredible. I watched
Yeah.
so many behind the scenes because I was like, who thought this up? Who did this? And David Lowery did, and I have respected him and followed his career since. I was super bummed I couldn't see The Green Knight this last year
Yeah.
because
Yeah, that's tough.
A
I'm
Ghost
so
Story is
pumped.
just so good. And Casey and Rooney, they just like the pie scene.
Oh, could we just talk about the pie scene for a
The
second?
pie
Rooney
scene.
Mara eats the pie in this movie. She goes for it in
And
one take.
she really goes.
I mean, you probably know if that scene actually Rooney Mara sitting there eating a real pie.
Yes, for 8 minutes. She
Oh
actually
my
did throw it
goodness.
up after, and she
Yeah.
said she will probably never eat pie again, which
One of the
who
most
blames her?
emotional scenes
Oh,
of
yes.
all time, and definitely the most emotional scene of someone eating, I would say, in a film. I could at least say that.
Yes.
And it's just so heartbreaking. Every I feel I'm so close to saying that this movie is perfect, but the one scene and sequence that holds it back for me is just the scene at the party where they're
I knew
sitting
it.
there. You knew it.
I knew
Is
it.
that everyone's complaint about this movie that stops it from being
Yes.
perfect? Okay. Yeah.
But I still think it's perfect.
Oh man, I even love the context of that scene. Like if you were just to
Yes.
write that scene on a piece of paper, I'd probably be like, yeah, that's fine. But I guess when seeing it visually, it just doesn't completely resonate with me because I guess so much of what makes that movie beautiful for me is the silence of it. So much of the movie is just
Yes.
eerie silence or just quiet music in the background. The score is phenomenal. I Get Overwhelmed is probably one of the greatest songs to ever grace a
Yes.
soundtrack or score of a movie. And the scene where they play it to completion at the end is just,
It grabs you.
oh man, I might just
Doesn't
go
let you
rewatch this right
go.
now. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
It's so good.
And very few films I feel like capture silence and capture life with silence. I should say that movement of time with silence, the loss of love, all this stuff with just imagery. And I mean, I could go on for this movie about this movie for days. It's a masterpiece. I may just give it a 5 now just by talking about it with
You
you. Just
should.
me hyping it up just right now and being like, yeah, that can get over that one scene, I guess. You
Oh
know?
no, if I feel like if you just accept the scene and you kind of
Mhm,
take it for what it is,
mhm.
it all just works because
Yeah.
that movie has such an interesting way of showing you what life is like just
Mhm,
from other perspectives. You're just kind
mhm.
of watching it and it's really great to see how people react to death. It's like a whole
Oh,
perspective on it. It's
I'm getting
amazing.
so emotional just talking about it
I
right now. It's
know. It's
amazing.
so incredible and
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I was just watching it in the theater and I just was sobbing for so long after
Mhm.
the credits even
Absolutely.
finished rolling. I couldn't even keep it in. It was so incredible. And I feel like how special that a movie can like make me feel that way. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And I like I said, very few movies capture that the rawest of emotion out of me like that. But
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I love I believe we talked about this in a one episode that we didn't air, but you and
Oh,
I talked about our love for a good cry when we watch a movie.
yes. I
I
love a good cry.
Good, because I gotta ask, what are some of those heartbreaks besides a ghost story that just get you going? One for me that always stands out is Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton.
Oh, yeah.
That movie, I mean, I love mixed martial arts, so I'm a kind of this movie was literally like made for me. It's like mixed
I
martial
feel
arts,
that.
but make it artsy, you know.
I love
So
that.
that was Warrior, and the ending of that movie, I know how cheesy it is, and usually I hate when movies do exactly what that movie does. That trope of just silence, we play the song,
Yes.
everyone's hugging, and we're just gonna cry.
We're
But
gonna cry together.
oh man, every time he says "I love you" when he's got him in
I
that
freaking
submission,
love
it gets
that.
me every time. I could watch the ending right now and it'd get me. So, what are some of yours that
Yes.
get you every time?
Honestly, kind of similar but different. Rocky, any of them.
Ooh, yeah, good one.
And Creed, any of them, both of
Mm-hmm.
them. I cry a lot.
All the
But
time.
also, I'm like such an easy crier. I feel like
Me too.
anything like
Me
slightly
too.
touching, I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh, it's beautiful. But Makia, an animated movie from Japan,
Okay.
from 2018, that movie, I'm crying for like a solid 30 minutes because that
Wow.
movie just punches you and then it's
Mhm.
like, you sad yet? I'm gonna punch you again. And
I'm
then
gonna beat you up.
I'm gonna keep beating you up. That one's definitely one. But there's also like stupid ones that are just special to me,
Yo,
like
I have those
Pretty
too.
Woman, I'm gonna cry. Princess Diaries, I'm probably gonna
That's such a
cry.
good movie, though. Princess Diaries is
Yeah,
nothing to
right.
feel guilty about. What a great film.
I'm gonna be honest. Any movie that's just slightly touching and the music kind of swells, I'm teary eyed.
Same. That's all it takes to get me. So
Same.
when a movie like a go, I see like a movie like a ghost story. I mean, it just ruins my whole day. I mean,
Yes.
I'm just in tears. I'm just thinking about it constantly. I mean, some of my guilty ones, Amazing Spider-Man 2, always makes me cry every time I
I
watch that movie.
understand though. It's such a sad ending.
Dude, the last 10 minutes of that movie, I mean, why is that kid's mom letting him run up to the rhino? I don't know.
I don't know.
But it makes me cry when Andrew Garfield shows up and just saves the day yet again every single time. I love it.
Oh,
I even
Garfield.
even even the first Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man that he did with that Coldplay song when he's skateboarding
Yes.
gets me in my feels every time as well. I don't know why. Something about,
Honestly, Spider-Verse for me. I'm gonna
that's
cry.
Spider-Verse every time. And if it comes to fruition that we get a Spider-Man 3 in the MCU with all of them coming together, you will see
Tears.
me just flood the theater in tears. I mean,
Yes.
Endgame, I ended up after a couple rewatches, I'm not super hot on it anymore, but I still
Oh,
cry every single time I watch that movie
just from
profusely.
watching the trailer,
Yeah,
I
me too.
cried.
Me too.
I'm in tears.
Yeah. X-Men's one that always gets me every single X-Men film,
Oh,
except New
I can
Mutants.
relate.
Except New
Oh,
Mutants. That was the only one that
yeah, I
didn't
would
get me.
agree. Yeah, there's no moment in that one.
They couldn't fight for it. They couldn't fight for it.
For
But
me, it's
oh,
Star
tell me.
Wars, though.
Oh, dude.
All of the Star
Yes.
Wars.
Episode 3 for me in
Yes.
my child, and we touched on this briefly in our last episode.
Yeah.
This is where my love for Hayden Christensen began. I
It's
mean,
still
dude,
there.
it's still there. I cry in Takers. I cry.
Yes.
I almost get brought to tears in Jumper. I love that film. You
I
know,
love Jumper so much.
I just rewatched Jumper 2 or 3 days ago. It's not
Still the
great.
best. Yes,
It's
it
not
has to
great,
be.
but
Oh no.
Jamie Bell is so charming. Hayden Christensen is so hilarious in it, and Samuel L. Jackson has this white hair the whole movie. It's a time, and it's a
I
fun
love
flick.
Jumper. I love
Yeah.
Push, all of those old movies.
Okay, so now, Kristen, we have a couple more episodes to plan. A guilty pleasures episode because you're naming
Yes.
all my favorite guilty pleasure movies. Now you're saying Push with Chris Evans, another one that is just so precious to me. That
In
time
time.
era, you have to stop. That time
It's just
era from like
yes,
2008 to 2012 of just cheesy movies
the
of that
best.
genre, the best. We have to have you back on to talk about that. Oh my
We have to
goodness.
do it.
Wow.
Ah.
Okay. We gotta move on, sadly, but I don't want to, but we're gonna have to do it.
All right, all right.
We're gonna save all that preciousness for our next time all together.
Oh
But
yeah.
I gotta ask, I know that you and your husband are both going to school for film.
Oh yeah.
What sparked that? Have you always had that creative drive to pursue film in the creative space beyond just viewing it, obviously?
I always think it's funny to tell people that when I like graduated high school and I went to college, I was a
Uh-huh.
pre-med student.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like
Cool.
I was really like, I'm gonna be a doctor and I'm gonna make some money. And then I like saw all my friends in their art degrees and I was like, why did I not do that? And
Mhm.
I like quit school and I had to pay off so much debt. And
Of course.
2020 was like such a big moment for me because I had been working so hard to get back into school. And I really didn't think the Los Angeles Film School was gonna like take me.
Mhm.
So I was just super hyped when I got in, and it was just something I'd always been wanting. I was really torn though between choosing like a film director route or like a
Yes.
film animator route.
I was just about to ask. Please tell us. Where
So
did you decide to go with?
I went film director route because
Okay.
ultimately I want to direct, produce, and write,
Mhm.
and I can't really draw. So
Okay.
animation might have been a
Yeah.
little harder, but
Mhm.
it's still something I really would like to get into.
Mhm.
And honestly, even if I don't become some director, producer, or anything, even just working in the film industry is something I know I really want to do. So
Yeah.
I am so hyped to be in
That's
school.
awesome, dude. Congrats
I know
again.
people say, thank you so much. I know people say you don't need school for film,
Mhm.
but I feel like it's been such a helpful journey for me
Mhm.
and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think for every case it's definitely different. I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
people that I know go to film school and they have jobs in the industry now, and I hope the same for you and Ash. That's gonna be I could see it now. You guys
Ah,
both, you working in animation, Ash on some Nicolas Cage set in the future. It's
heck
gonna be a
yes.
beautiful sight to see. I can't wait.
Yes.
So I gotta ask, what what in film are you more I know you that you're majoring obviously in film direction, but would you fancy yourself more of a writer or a director? Do you have a preference? Do you like to create your own stories, or would you rather have someone create a story for you and just be able to put that on the screen?
I have always been writing since I was little. Like I thought I
Mhm.
wanted to be like an author at a point and write
Wow.
books, and I still
Mhm.
think I could like bust out a book. I think I have that in me, but
Mhm.
I've always been really comfortable writing, and I feel like for me directing is something I want to push myself into. That seems like kind of a scary thing to do, direct
Absolutely. Yeah.
a whole film, on any
Absolutely.
scale. That sounds incredibly hard and tiring, and I respect anybody who can do it. And I'd love to try it one day, and I hope I
Mhm.
get good at it. But honestly, if I could write my own stories and direct them, that would be the goal.
Okay. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I could totally see just branching off. I mean, starting with live action and slowly moving to animation. We've seen that
Yes.
transition happen time and time again, and it's always been for the most part successful. I know like Brad Bird is always the immediate thing
Yeah.
that comes to mind, and his ability to translate filmmaking in both spaces is phenomenal. I see the same for you guys completely in the future.
I love it.
It is gonna be a treat to see, and it's gonna be a treat to one day have you guys on talking about a film that you guys made. You know,
Ah, thank you so much. I'm
I
so
can
hyped
feel
now.
it
I'm
now.
like,
I can
I
feel it
gotta go
now.
make a movie.
Yes, yes, you must. You must. But for the time being, we're on YouTube still. I mean, we're going to
Yes.
be obviously have an audio format of this as well, but currently we're on YouTube. I got to know what your plans are for this year. We've kind of been talking about it here
Yeah.
and there on and off air. So, dude, tell us what's up. What do you got planned for this year in this
I
space?
have so much planned. I feel like I've been like super scared to come to YouTube.
Mm,
I feel like, Ash has been in it and he has all these friends that have been in it. I'm like, could I really do this? But
mm,
I'm doing it. Starting my own kind of like film corner of the world. I just want to start my podcast, which is coming out soon. And I just want to be able to like talk about the movies I love and the things I've been watching and hopefully get some cool people on to talk about it too.
love it.
But yeah,
Oh, it's
we'll
so
see where
exciting.
it goes.
So exciting. So exciting.
Yeah.
Do you plan on branching out into reviews and stuff of that nature as well? Or are you sticking solely to this one show for the time being, kind of easing your way into it for the
I
time being?
feel like it's going to be pretty broad and like
Okay.
touch on a lot. I feel like I can't not do movie reviews. I feel like that's just kind of going to happen. It probably won't be, I'm grading this movie, but
yeah.
I definitely want to like give my thoughts on things and touch on things like the Oscars and like the Globes, talk about anything going on and everything going on.
Okay, cool. I cannot wait to see it, dude. It's so exciting.
Yeah,
It's so exciting to see new creators in this space. And it's so exciting that you, of all people, are getting into this. It's a treat, dude. So I cannot wait to see what you're cooking up in the kitchen. It's going to be great.
So much pressure. Thanks.
No. Okay, I got to ask, dude. I got to ask.
Yeah.
This space, I mean, it is filled. I mean, we just had Sabrina Ramirez on the show as well. I mean, I don't know if that episode's going to come out before or after this, but we touched on the issue of the toxicity that kind of comes with this film space, especially the misogynistic, racism, and homophobic stuff constantly. It's insane.
Always. Yeah.
It's insane. And that's, just barely scratching the surface of what we could be talking about. So what I want to ask you first is, how would you say that men can serve as better allies to you guys in this space? How can we serve women better in this space?
I think you're already basically doing it. I just think opening up their platform and just giving women like the spotlight and a chance to speak on things. I know we've just had a lot of things from the male perspective, and I love when I get to hear like women talk about film. It's always like such a really special thing for me, because I'm like, we really weren't getting this even just like 5 years ago. So I just think opening up the space and being welcoming, and we should just, I hate to be all lovey-dovey, but let's just like put everything aside and come together.
Please, please. I don't even.
For us to be a big community,
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. I believe me and Brian talked about this on our episode together. But we were talking about how way back in the day, people used to just throw up their videos in Facebook groups, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, I'll go subscribe to you. I like your video."
I love that.
Now it's like, oh my goodness. If you get to post it and no one comments something mean, you'd be lucky. You know what I mean? So
I know
it's insane. It is insane. And I want to encourage not only you, but everybody to just go for it. Do not let this scare you. Do not let this vocal minority instill fear in you, because they are truly the minority. Most people on here do want to just talk like Kristin and I are talking right now and just chat about film and have a good time. So guys, please, everyone start up your YouTube channels. Let's just, refresh the system. If
Let's
we will,
do it. Break the algorithm. Come
please. Honestly, we got to start. It's time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where the community and conversation goes this decade. It's going to be exciting.
Very. I'm so excited. I got to know then, what are your goals for this year? What do you have set out for yourself? What do you want to challenge yourself with? Some safe, attainable goals, some big, crazy goals. I got to know them all.
I feel like I only have giant goals. I can't like think small.
Good. That is what I like to hear.
I want to obviously get my podcast off of the ground and out of my thinking space and to the world. That's like my biggest goal right now. But also I want to, write some things. I want to hopefully have some short films done.
Oh, awesome.
I want to watch like 1,000 films this year. I know that's like a lofty number, but
that's a big number, dude. That is a huge number, dude. I believe in you though.
I know me and Ash did like 500 this last year, around maybe 600. I think we could do 1,000. I want to do like a 24-hour movie marathon. I'm trying to convince Ash.
That'd be so fun. If you pick the right movies, that'll be a treat.
Yes, I think that would be fun. But yeah, those are my big goals. What about you?
Ooh, that's tough. I have a lot. But I'll name a few. I'll name a few of the bigger ones, the biggest ones. Okay. I should say that. Yeah. I want to get this to 50 episodes. So that means I got to stay consistent on this thing and just keep it going.
Nice.
So 50 episodes of this, it would be nice. I want to at least break 700 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we can do that. It's manageable.
Totally.
It's manageable. And I want to get at least one video essay out. At least one. A long form video touching on either a film or an actor's work or something. Just something in a long form format. I got to get it out there. Because I've been wanting. Yeah, dude. I've been wanting to do something like that for a really long time. And I feel like now that I'm finally kind of getting used to doing this consistently again, now that we've got some episodes in the can, I have time to work a little bit. So these
Yes.
things are possible. And one more is that I want to review and we talked about this last time. I want to review every movie that I watch on Letterbox in a
Yes.
written format because I need to
Mm,
be able to get my thoughts on not a paper, but at least on the keyboard,
something.
on the screen, just so I can remember the movies better. But also just I need to write more, dude. I need to just practice writing and get into the habit of reviewing on and off the camera.
I feel that. I love that.
Yeah, I gotta ask about your Letterbox though,
Okay.
because you are, like I said, the queen of Letterbox. Your husband is the king of Letterbox. I gotta
Yes.
ask, when did you first discover Letterbox? Was this before Ash? Way back
Oh
when?
my gosh. No.
Okay.
I feel like Ash would take me to the movies when we started hanging out, and
Okay.
after it would end, he'd just be on his phone instead of like talking to me. And I'd
We
be like,
love it.
"What'd you think of the movie?" And he'd be like, "Hold on, I'm putting my Letterbox
I'm
thoughts
logging
down."
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, "Stop, just talk to me, just talk to
Please
me."
stop. Yeah.
And he was like, "No, no." And for like so many movies, he was like, "You could be writing your own review on Letterbox." And I was
Mhm.
like, "I don't need to. I can write it in my head."
I love that. That's always the talking point as how do people that use Letterboxd get people to talking about it. Is that you could be, rating this
You could
movie.
be
People could read
rating
it.
it.
Yeah.
But
I love
then
it.
I finally was just like in 2017, I was like, well, if you're gonna do it, then I'm
Mhm.
gonna do it, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna have just as many movies as you. So it's kind of like the competitor in me coming out.
Oh, I love it. I didn't know that. Okay.
Where
Cool.
I was just like, we'll see who has all the films on Letterboxd, Dash. But
Mhm.
I got addicted to it. I saw like how fun it was making
It's so
lists and like
fun.
logging my
Yeah.
movies. And yeah, now I'm addicted. I love logging my films.
It is honest. You guys are the two people that honestly got me back into doing it again.
Really?
Yeah, because I took a long break off Letterboxd. I used it just to put like star reviews up. I didn't really like write anything down. And then
Yeah.
I finally downloaded the app. Just people keep on talking about it, so I was like, oh, I'll hop back on Letterboxd. I see you guys posting reviews every single day. I'm like, I gotta either be watching this many movies or just talking about this many movies, or both. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
it's
had
so
to get on
fun.
that train. It's such a delight. I'm sure that you've come across many films that you maybe have not been aware of or had not seen prior to your Letterbox days. What are some films that you got to or what are some of your favorites that you discovered solely through the Letterbox application?
Oh, I feel like so many. They have like that awesome feature where they have like the top 100
Yep, the
box
lists,
movies,
all the lists that you
all
could
the
go through.
lists.
Yep.
And you just go through and you see all these people watching these foreign films, and you're like,
Mhm.
I've never heard of this. Oh, it
Yeah.
has people I know in it. What is this? I feel like so much half the movies I watch are because
Wow,
a
really?
friend watched it and I was
I
like,
love that.
I'm adding this to my watch list because that's
Cool.
also a feature.
That's awesome.
Letterbox should sponsor me. That'd be great.
I was gonna say, guys, like get Kristin as like one of your editors or writers or something to do anything
Let
for
me
your
do
site,
it.
please. She is a very proficient at your site.
Uh,
What are three tips that you would give to people just starting up a Letterbox account?
don't worry about what other people rate the movie. Just do
Absolutely.
what you want to do, rate it the way you want to rate it. It doesn't matter how you see that 5-star scale. I
Absolutely.
know 2.5 for me means crap, and then 2.5 for Ash means okay. So it's like really
Mhm.
doesn't matter. I would say, just write whatever thoughts you have. You don't need to write like some long formatted review where you're sitting down and
Yeah.
touching on everything. I like to make jokes half the time.
Me too. Just a one sentence
Just one liner.
a little
It's fun.
line, yeah, here and
Yeah.
there.
And I would also say like be interactive on the app. I love commenting on people's reviews and like trying to start a conversation. It's a place where you can meet people who love all of the same films that you love. You can
Absolutely.
read reviews from people, and like just it's a delight to kind of feel like you're a part of some bigger thing.
Yeah.
Love it.
It is honestly so crazy how many films, because I last year was the first year during this quarantine where I just
Yes.
decided to bite the bullet and go super deep into it. And I got to see so many foreign films That just blew my mind. I know we touched on it in our last episode. The Wailing is the one that comes to the front of my brain that you need to see. That it just, every single time I think about it, if I didn't have Letterbox, this would have been something I just never watched.
Yes.
Hundreds of movies like that. And I'm the annoying guy that every time I just click on an actor, I see like 30 films that I want to see. I just watch this. And
yes,
it'll keep going endlessly, and so be it. But that's the nature of Letterbox. That's the nature of watching film, is that you're constantly looking for the next good one to watch.
Oh, there's so many. I feel like I'll never run out.
Honestly, I gotta ask, we touched on it in our last episode together. How is your decades going for your watch list? For those of you guys that don't know, Kristin and Ash are going through the 2010s. It's a task. They're gonna watch every single movie basically.
Yeah, we like found yet another 2010 movie we hadn't seen.
Ooh, I love it.
Just like keeps growing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of staggered off for a moment. We were catching up on 2020. I feel like with the Oscars kind of right around the corner, I can't not focus on that. But we just watched we're on 2011 right now. We watched a really good animated film from there. So we're back to some good things.
Here we go.
I can't wait to be done with 2011. I feel like we only have a lot of crap to watch.
Dude, I was going to say those early 2010s are just rough.
I remember,
I mean, especially 2014 and right before that, are just some of the worst, really. Some of the worst stuff of the decade are in those little 4 years
garbage, yeah.
Especially the comedy.
Oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy.
What's the worst one that you've seen?
Oh my gosh, what's that? It's an Owen Wilson Hall Pass.
You guys talk, yep, Hall Pass. Oof.
I just couldn't believe the premise of
the concept. The things that they get to say in this movie and do are just horrifying.
It's just a constant theme in 2010 that if you cheat on your spouse but you love them at the end of the day, it's okay.
Deeply loved too. A love that is unlike any other that you could have had if you just stayed loyal and just loved, your honey.
Just love them. A movie that a lot of people do like, that I just found terrible, Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh,
I know people are gonna come for me. I don't care. You can.
No, let's talk about it for a second. I want to know why. I have to know.
Oh my gosh. I would say again, there's just some things that shouldn't be okay. Like a 12-year-old wanting to have nudes of a grown woman.
Dude. Yeah. That whole subplot is the weirdest thing about that movie. It's
just horrible. And at the end, he gives this speech. Yeah. And it's just horrible.
Yeah. Not a movie to watch for lessons. I'll say that. Not at all.
Or any truth to love or dating.
Marriage, man. That's just simply what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even though Ryan Gosling and everybody's super cute.
Oh, so dreamy. Yeah.
Not for me.
I understand. Wow. In that, I'm planning on rewatching it because I'm going to ask some Valentine's Day related questions in a second here. Yeah. I'm planning on rewatching it for our Valentine's Day episode that we're going to have with your dear husband. I just watched it last year, and now that you're saying it in this light, it kind of makes this whole movie kind of twisted in a way that I didn't think about before.
It's so messed up.
So this is going to be quite a treat to see. But I got to ask about your husband. My dear friend, Ash, a great guy. First things first, what's one thing that you've learned from him while you guys have been together? Whether that's before or after your marriage?
Oh, man. I feel like Ash doesn't think he's wise because if you know him, he's a goofball. But he has given me like so much sage advice. I'd say before him, I was super uptight and I really didn't like to share like my life at all or like be myself in public. But Ash was always just like crazy. We'd go out to Best Buys and he'd be like talking to all the employees. He'd be like, Ash, hey. And I was like, whoa, you should leave them alone. He's like, no, just be yourself. So I've completely opened up and really like found out who I am, and he's really like held my hand through like I feel like my last teenage years, and it's kind of weird. He's like carried me into like who I am today, and it's great because he's just like the best person, and he just gives the best advice. I love him.
Oh, you guys are great together. You guys are the
Oh,
best.
thank you.
I gotta ask. When would you say for you that the love or the like became a love, as our beautiful dear friend mimics a cat in the background?
He's just constantly crawling in the background of this. I'm sorry. Yes. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, absolutely. I kind of just want to know when in your heart that the feeling became love for you, that you knew that you loved this
such
dear
a nice
man.
question.
Good.
I feel like it took me a long time.
Really? Okay.
I met Ash in 2015 when I had like just graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like not even 18 yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he was just like, let's go out and like, let's do this. And I was like, no, I'm going to like go be a person for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 2017 that we even like really became friends again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I kind of really wanted it to be. I just kind of wanted him to be my friend. I was so happy to have somebody to go to the movies with me all the time. I was like, I'm not ruining this with like love.
Yeah.
But it just kind of like happened. I like one day we were just at the movies and I was like, man, I could like spend every day, not even every day, every second with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably still wouldn't be enough time.
Oh,
Ash and I were like we'd wake up at 8 a.m., see each other, and like we wouldn't like say goodbye till 5 a.m. And we'd be like, do you want to see each other again tomorrow? And I don't know, along the way, we just were like, I guess we're dating, and then we're here.
Here we are. And he has brought you into my life, which has been an absolute blessing. You know?
He's given me so many friends. I love it.
Yeah. And we are so happy to have you here as one of his friends. It's an absolute blessing and an honor. I gotta ask as well, you know, he is just an absolute blast to talk to every single time I get to chat with him. How's that like getting to move in with him? What was that transition like from just dating? I don't know. Did you guys live together before you guys were married, or was that something that just happened after?
Oh yeah, we lived together for a year before we were engaged or anything, but it kind of was like a spur of the moment thing. Honestly, I had been kicked out of my house. And I was like, I have to move out. And Ash was like, well, I guess I'll just move in with you. And I was like, do you want to do it? And we had only been dating for a few months, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
So it was really quick into it. But
were you scared?
I was just like ready to go. Like we had already been spending so much time.
Yeah.
I was so excited. And I don't think I was ready for what was to come. Living with somebody is a big transition.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You learn a lot about somebody, obviously, living with them. But yeah, we always call that like our first year of marriage, actually. That year that we lived together, it was so rough. But yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah. So it feels like, I'm assuming that it feels like you guys have been married longer than you guys have actually been on paper legally married.
Yes.
Then. Yeah.
Feels like years now.
That's awesome. You guys are just such an inspiration, and I can't wait to have him on so I can ask him these exact questions and for you guys to both watch this and just, you know, have a little moment. Brought to you by Chew on This.
Yay.
And it's going to be such a delight to have you guys both on our Valentine's Day episode, which is going to be coming up in a few, or whenever this is uploaded, probably about a week and a half ish.
Nice.
I'm so excited, dude. We're going to talk about a bunch of romance flicks.
Yay.
From the past, from the now. I got to ask now before, because who knows, these may change. I want to state them now to see if these romance flicks will still stay at the top. What are some of yours at the top of your head that you love?
It's a cliche. I love The Notebook. I don't care.
Hey, it's such a good movie, dude.
It's so freaking good.
I'm gonna rewatch it soon.
Honestly, Ghibli films are some of my greatest love stories. The Wind Rises has like some of the most emotional love scenes in it that I've ever seen. A Ghost Story is one of my favorite love stories. Counts. But I'm also just a sucker for classic rom-coms. I don't think I could ever hate a classic rom-com.
Yeah. Dude, those early 2000s rom-coms give me life.
Yes.
Every single one of them. All the Matthew McConaughey ones where he's a man-child. I love it. Every second
I
of
love
it.
that. Yes. I was
Have
just
you
talking to Ash about that. I love
have you
seeing
seen
Matthew
Failure to
McConaughey.
Launch before?
I was just about to say that.
That movie, I remember me and my friends, we were in high school and we all went on vacation together. There's four of us stuck in a room on a cruise ship. And on the movie channels, they showed the same 2 or 3 movies every single day. And there was one day where we just had a loop of Failure to Launch. We watched it 4 or 5 times in a row, just endlessly. Failure to Launch, Failure to Launch. And now that movie is just one of those movies that is just ingrained in my life and my heart and my brain forever. It's such a guilty
I
pleasure of
love
mine.
that so much.
Such a silly film. And the cast of that movie is so insane. It is crazy. Bradley Cooper is in that one, guys, if you don't know.
All of those early rom-com films, like the people who are in it, you're just like, dude, your career's about to blow up. It's crazy to see.
Yeah. What's funny is you bringing up Crazy Stupid Love and the reanalysis of that film brings me to my reanalysis of one of my previous favorite romantic movies, and I'm gonna rewatch it again because the last rewatch it wasn't so hot. 500 Days of Summer. Are you super familiar with this movie?
Yeah, I've seen this movie so many times.
Dude, I used to love this movie.
Oh no.
Love it, love it, love it, love it.
No.
Okay, see, this is the thing. I think I could still come back around to loving it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this last time I watched it, Joseph Gordon-Levitt just grinded my gears so much.
Really?
He used to be my best friend from that movie. I used to love him so much.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Have you seen Ruby Sparks?
I have not, but I put it on my watch list after I saw that you guys got to see it. So
okay, I feel like that's just like, I know 500 Days of Summer came out, I think, after this, but I'm just like, whoa, 500 Days of Summer is so much better than this movie.
That I believe. That I wholeheartedly believe.
Oh, but I feel like I went through that phase too, where I was like, 500 Days of Summer is just so blah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I watched it again recently and I really love that movie.
I still adore like 90% of it. I shouldn't say that I've soured on it because I still adore so much of it. And it honestly shaped my music taste.
Same.
My whole life, pretty much.
And my whole aesthetic, honestly.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yes.
That was my life. So I have a deep admiration for 500 Days of Summer, and I can't wait to get around to watching it. What are some that you look forward to maybe watching for the first time that you've added to your watch list?
Oh,
Did you
so
think of
many.
any?
I've
Okay,
never
cool.
seen Sleepless in Seattle. I know.
Dude,
that's
I
like
was
a
gonna
big
say
one.
that one as well.
Or- You know, a lot of those classic ones, like While You Were Sleeping, or like Time Traveler's Wife, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to like finally see those really gooey movies.
Oh, I love him. It's funny. It's funny because when Ash asked me, he's like, "So we're talking romance. Are we gonna go like rom-coms or what are we doing?" And I don't remember the example I gave him, but the movie that always comes to my mind when I think of romance movies, and it's like the most devastating movie, is Blue Valentine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, dude.
So sad.
It's like, to me, that's the definition of what a romance movie is. But I mean, does it feel good? No. Does it depict love? I mean, kind of, I guess, in a way.
So,
I don't know. Maybe, sadly, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Ryan Gosling has so many of those movies that just break my heart every time. And
honestly,
I have to implore you guys. I've been shouting out this stupid movie on almost every episode of this show too, so I apologize for saying it yet again. But Song to Song, I know it's on your guys' watch list already, but fast track it for this romance episode.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely watch it.
Please do it. I think that you guys will either love it or hate it. So I expect
you have to do me a favor then. You have to watch The Mountain Between Us. Okay.
The Mountain Between.
I'm a big sucker for this.
Wait.
Idris Elba.
Okay, I was just gonna say I know what movie this is. This is with Idris Elba and Kate
Winslet.
Yeah. Okay, I'm so down to watch this movie.
And I'm gonna say, like, Survivor love stories, top tier stories.
I was gonna ask how many Survivor love stories are there? I'm trying to think now that you mentioned
Adrift. Like, there's just many.
Adrift. That one I was not super hot on. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I love that movie.
That one. You did?
Oh my god, the peanut butter scenes. Oh, I can't even. The
Dude.
ending of that. It's a true story.
It's
When
the
it's a
fact
true
that it's a true,
story.
yeah, okay, I'll give it that. The fact that it's a true story is wild to me, and you know, I'm
Same
glad
with the
that
mountain between us.
that's a true story as well.
Yes, it's
Oh my
crazy.
goodness. So this whole genre
I,
is full of true story romances, I guess.
yes,
That's mind-blowing. I was
that was
completely
like one of
unaware.
the craziest theater experiences for me. And I haven't stopped thinking about that movie since I saw it in theaters. So
Wow.
yeah,
Mountain Between Us. I have to watch that. Oh yeah, I have to
it's the
ask.
best.
The
Yes.
last one I'll throw your way is The Spectacular Now. Have you seen this film?
Oh my gosh, yes. That's like one of the
Okay.
first like indie films I ever saw.
Me too. Yeah.
Yes.
When you're growing, I mean, we're around the same age. So yeah,
Yeah.
growing up in the 2014 time, that was when I saw movies like The Guest. I saw this. It was so many indie
Yes.
movies. I was like, oh, these movies are different. They're cool. They're weird. I
This
like it.
this isn't like what I normally see. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just talking about this on a previous episode as well. This movie has resonated with me in different ways throughout life because I think every male can probably say that they've been the douchebag Sutter Keeley from this movie, at least at one point in their life. So seeing that at this age and seeing the whole repercussion of that, and also the love story and the effects that kind of ripple through that due to his actions is just so heartbreaking and such a crazy watch to me, and it makes me cry every single time. I love that
Oh,
movie.
it makes me cry so hard.
Yeah, breaks my heart. I'm just like, Amy, you deserve better. The whole movie. Just come on,
The
Amy.
whole movie.
I feel so bad for Shailene
That
Woodley,
whole
dude.
genre too. Yes. But like, are you a fan of like the John Green movie makes, you know?
We talked about this last time. What was the movie
Yeah.
with Paper Towns?
Paper Towns.
See, that's one I might not define as a romance, but I really dig that movie. And that kind of
Yeah.
falls into that weird subgenre of film. Fault in Our Stars has its moments. I'm gonna rewatch it.
Totally. Me too.
Yeah, this I love the soundtrack of that movie, but just because I'm a
Same.
baby of
Yeah.
that past era, so it's like
Yeah.
I have to love the soundtrack for that movie. It's a fun watch. It's an entertaining watch. It's an easy cry out of me because I'm a sucker.
So many tears.
So yeah, that genre will get me, but not the Nicholas Sparks ones. I have varying feelings on. I like Dear John is one that actually I really like.
Yeah, that one's okay.
Makes me cry all day, every day.
Amanda's so good in that one.
Dude, amazing. And I feel like that, honestly, people said that Channing Tatum couldn't act for a long time. And honestly, I thought he was so good in that movie, actually.
He's so sad.
Yeah, he's so good at playing the sad. Okay, sorry, we're getting totally off tangent now, but I gotta ask. Have you seen Stop Loss before? They just put it on HBO Max, I believe.
No, I don't even think I've heard of that.
Okay, listen to this cast. We got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We got Ryan Phillippe. We got Channing Tatum.
Nice.
We got Abby Cornish.
What?
And it's a military drama, but with no war in it. Or I shouldn't say that. An intro scene of war, and then just the repercussions of it. And, you know, going through love and going through PTSD. That's one that you guys should throw on your watch list for sure.
Okay, I'm definitely going to then.
Stop Loss. And it's not the best movie, but it's a good cry, and it will break your heart. I promise you that. Channing goes for it the entire time.
I'm ready. Okay, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and honestly, I could throw to kind of wrap up this whole romance conversation. Beginners is honestly one that I think I could throw on there after seeing that. Such a just such a charming, warm movie. The feeling that I got from it is just warmth, pure exhilaration and warmth and happiness.
Yes, such a good one.
Like no other.
Yeah, I feel like movies aren't made like that anymore. Such a relic of its time. I love
2011 indie, which I need to go back and watch that generation of independent film as well, because there's so many gems from there.
Good ones.
Man, I could sit here, Kristin, and talk to you about movies every day. Just you and your husband are both the same, where we could just go on and on and on, and endless tangents of film talk that we may have. But we gotta wrap the episode up, sadly, because we're gonna have you back on so soon.
I'm so excited.
You're the second most repeated guest on the show officially.
Really? That's great. Thank you for having me.
The first, and you are the second, dude. It's awesome that you guys rule this show.
I'm so happy. No, when you asked me, I was like so excited. I was like, finally, he asked me to be on Chew on this.
Yes, absolutely. We've been waiting to have you on. We've been waiting for the right moment, and now that the comeback is in fruition, and we got the show looking nicer, we got everything going in motion now. It's it's the right time. And I'm glad to have had you on, dude. Thanks for coming on, Kristin. It's been a treat.
Yes, thanks for having me. I've had so much fun.
Awesome. What are some of the things you want to plug before we get off here, or some things that we need to keep our eyes out for in the coming months?
There's nothing on there yet, but if you want to go follow my podcast Instagram, it's the Honey Buzz Pod. Okay. Just straight that. You could go follow that, get excited. I'll be posting on there in a few days. So that's exciting.
Oh, that is so exciting. Then we'll definitely have something up by the time this episode goes up. So guys, check it out, please.
And then also, please come on my Letterbox. I'm not scary. I just want to talk about movies. That's just, hey, it's me, Kristin. That's where I'm probably the most active. I don't have Twitter or Facebook or anything, but come find me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on again, Kristin. That was super duper fun. Now you and Ash have another competition to have as to who's going to be the most repeated guests on this show. Cause now you and I have 2 episodes planned in the future already off the rip without him. So it's exciting.
Sorry,
a new
Ash.
Competition is afoot. Sorry, buddy. If you're watching, I know you're watching this. I'm sorry,
buddy.
He's
definitely watching.
And you and I are going to plan something else when you and I are on, and Kristin's going to see that, and then the cycle will never end. So be it.
Who knows? Maybe I'll worm my way in. I don't know.
It's possible. This is what I get for being friends with both of you guys. I'm kind of torn. But this has been such a treat, Kristin. I can't believe that it took this long to get to it, but here we are. Chew on this. I believe this is probably going to be an episode in the 20s somewhere. It doesn't have a number yet, but it will. You'll see the visual right here. As we're working out the visuals of the show, please, guys, leave any kind of feedback in the comment section below. We love having new guests on, so please let me know any guests that I may not be aware of that I got to have on the show. I love talking to people about film, so any suggestion is welcome. We love having different people on this show. And I'd like to thank Kristin again for coming on. It was so much fun, dude.
Thank you so much again, dude. I've had so much fun. I could talk all night, honestly.
Awesome. And we will have Kristin and Ash both back on for our Valentine's Day episode, guys. So please stay tuned for that. You can follow me on Instagram at @MichaelChew_. I'm just Michael Chew on Letterbox, and Michael Chew, the number 4, real on Twitter. And that's all my socials, guys. Please subscribe here, and you will see another episode of Chew on This, or hopefully maybe a different kind of video if we have something cooking that can be out soon. We don't know yet, but hopefully, guys. And we'll see you then. Check you out later. Bye-bye.